Hello people, I'm Vito, and welcome back to the World of Light with Robberlink.
Hello.
So, last time we re-entered this electrical place, I forget what it's called, it probably said when we entered, it'll probably be in the title or the description, but whatever it's called. So, continuing where we left off, we were talking a lot about more RTS games again. And...
Susie.
So, I think I mentioned we played Epic Yarn, but one of the Kirby games that I saw the Game Grumps played, I didn't watch them play it yet, but one of the other ones that's like a different style, I think it was called Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. It looked different. I wonder if that's what this character is from.
Boop.
So, I think last time we pretty much finished up all the, or at least most of the RTS games that we remember.
More or less, I think.
If we think of more, we'll talk about it probably, but I was thinking we could go into other types of games.
Alright. Actually, I just come up with one.
Oh, really? What?
Battle for Middle-earth 2.
Oh, yeah. Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. It was... I believe it was my first time I played a game, like an RTS game, where you didn't create individual units.
Oh,
Instead, you created battalions, which were squads, basically.
Yeah. So you...
So instead of telling one unit, like one trooper what to do, you tell the entire, like, squad or battalion or whatever to move.
Yeah, they always move as like a little collective group.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, that was the first game that I played that did that. Ow.
Hopefully you don't die. Oh, you're fine. That didn't even hurt. I don't know if it was the first Battle for Middle-earth or if it was both of them. What? Oh. I guess it was because he was metal.
He forgot.
Like, whoops. Yeah, I don't know if it was just the first or both of them, but in the Battle for Middle-earth, the first one at least, it's one of those RTS games where you cannot choose to build anywhere. You had to build in a selected specific spot around your main structure, and I think you can capture other points where you can do that. At least in the first one. I think the second one, it kind of works the same way, but you can choose where you want to build that central structure, I think, or extra ones rather. But then all the small structures have to be built in a limited number of spaces around it.
Ah.
And that actually reminds me, we did also play Halo Wars on Xbox 360, which also had that same kind of mechanic. There's a limited number of spots to make that main structure that have a limited number of spots for other buildings around it.
Right.
And that kind of, I don't really like that as much. It feels too limiting. You don't have the freedom to do what you want.
I want to be able to build, like, outposts and bases across the entire map.
Yeah, I have heard there is a sequel to Halo Wars, but I have not played it.
Same here. Heard of it, haven't played it.
Oh no, you're getting zapped.
How dare you zap me?
Okay, so...
Yeah.
I think where I was gonna go from... Oh, good job. Where I was gonna go from our talk about RTS games was probably into, like, creative-ish games.
Ooh, fun.
So, I think we all know about Minecraft, of course, but...
Yes.
Trying to think. One of the things I don't really like about Minecraft is that it feels like it should have more to it, if that makes sense. Like, when I've played also Terraria, and I feel like Minecraft should have like that kind of variety of stuff in it. Like, Minecraft, it feels like the only weapons you're ever going to use is a sword and a bow, pretty much. And maybe some people will use an axe instead of a sword, or if they get the trident, they might use that. There's also the crossbow. I don't know if that can even be enchanted, but overall Minecraft feels very limited in its weapon choice. It can be modded, but I'm at that point where I'd really prefer if I didn't have to mod the game to have it the way I wanted it.
I think it's because Minecraft is still meant to be at least... Actually, no. I was about to say somewhat realistic. I remembered right. You fight zombies, skeletons, and giant spiders.
And there's magic and potions.
Yeah. Kind of defeats my argument.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm so dead inside. I just want more from the game itself without having to mod it. I want that purity of knowing it's the way the game was made already. Because also there's like a quality standard that they have. So sometimes mods will have stuff that's kind of more shabby looking.
Right.
Even if it's mechanically good. I do remember at some point messing around with some of the mods. I think there was like a metallurgy mod that added like tons of ores. I usually just messed around with it in creative to look at how they looked, all the new swords that they made. It was interesting, but also maybe a little too complex. There was also, I think, something called Buildcraft. But there was also all these different mods had different energy types. Like they'd invent their own system of energy, whether it was in joules or watts or whatever. And you'd need mods made just to make them convertible, basically, sometimes.
And God help you if you have multiple mods that introduce resources that have the same name.
Oh yeah, some of them did that. I think
like titanium or something.
I think copper was a big one.
Oh yeah. So like you'd have like 5 different coppers that each could only be used for certain things.
Yeah, it's like, which copper do I need for this item? And you'd have to figure out which mod it was from for that. Yeah, I don't think I ever really used mods for survival purposes. I usually used them to mess around with in creative. I did eventually figure out how to use, I think it was called a quarry in Buildcraft. It was kind of interesting. It would actually dig out an entire place all the way down to like bedrock pretty much.
Pichu.
The character that hurts itself.
Yep.
Which kind of seems pretty dumb if you ask me, but oh well, it's not up to me. So yeah, I do really like how unique the weapons feel in Terraria, how much of a variety there is.
On the other hand, Terraria is a little bit overwhelming for a first player, like first time playing it.
I don't know.
Or if your friends drag you into it without any idea what you're getting into.
Yeah, something about Terraria I like better, the way the flow of it feels in terms of progression, how much variety there is. There's even technically different classes. You're not really locked into them or anything. It's just based on what you have equipped.
I do kind of like that.
But also, like, think about how all the different weapons work and how many weapons there are. Like, there's that one that's like a chain whip sword. It swings around you. And then there's things like that one that calls down meteors or stars. There's, like, so many different things. That's, like, the kind of variety I'd want to have in Minecraft.
Didn't even get hurt.
Nice. I just remembered the biggest thing I dislike, I think, about Minecraft is when you get to a point where you've gotten to the Nether and you have to try and find a Nether fortress to harvest, to keep killing blaze enemies for their blaze rods. I think just for me, maybe it's my bad luck or something, the amount of time it takes me to find a Nether fortress just kind of kills it for me. I lose interest by the time I actually find one. And then there's like no guarantee you'll actually find a spawner for the blazes that you need.
True.
And then it just gets worse from there because then there's this whole, if you want to really guarantee your success, you have to do the whole alchemy thing or the brewing thing. That was it, the brewing for potions. And you either need to look up what you have to do or you have to memorize everything, and it's just a whole nother level of and it feels like you're consuming, or you have to gather and consume so many resources to put into potions that it doesn't feel worth it, even though it absolutely is worth it. But for some reason, that something about it just kills mentally my interest in doing it.
Yeah, I never really got into potion making in Minecraft.
Yeah, for some reason, something about that general point just kills my interest or my, my desire to actually move forward and make progress.
I think I'll come back to this one later.
That one looks like it sucks.
If I remember correctly, that's Victini, which is the Pokemon of victory.
That just reminds me of...
What the heck?
Oh, yeah, it looks weird. Because you've been fighting some Mega Man enemies, and we've been sometimes fighting on the Mega Man stages in this region. There's a Starbomb song about Mega Man. Do you know what Starbomb is?
It sounds familiar.
It's basically NSP plus Game Grumps. It's Aaron, Dan, and Brian doing music about games. One of them was about Mega Man. It has some explicit lyrics, but it's really funny.
Got it.
And I think one of the lyrics is, my suit is red, the color of victory, or something like that. And it's like in this really nice harmony.
Wow. I actually need to have Zap immunity on this stage. Why?
Dang it.
It decided to dodge instead of jump.
Yeah, but this is the issue I mentioned several episodes ago, where sometimes there is a stage hazard and they don't give you other platforms.
It was like one of the first times I've seen that.
You've been lucky up until now.
I guess so.
They've been going so easy on you. There's this hazard, but you don't really need to worry about it.
Psych.
Well, now you do. And then, beyond the basics of Minecraft and Terraria, there was a game on Steam. I don't know if it's still free. There was, you could pay for it, but at the time there was also an option to get, a free version of it, I guess. I don't know if there was anything removed from it, like a trial version sort of thing, but there's no time limit on it or anything. I don't know if it's still like that, if it's still free to get. But there's a game called Star Made, Starmade. It was pretty interesting. It had, kind of like a Minecraft-y feel to it, but it was all in space. There were planets, but it was weird. It's
yeah,
they were like a polygonal shape that had plates of Minecraft world almost.
Yeah, so it was kind of like a giant, not like pentagon, but I'm not sure how many sides there were.
It had some amount of sides to it, but it was a bit strange because I think each plate was a pentagon.
Yeah, and the gravity, therefore, was a little bit off.
Yeah, it's like you go to a certain point and all of a sudden the gravity changes its direction. But yeah, most of the time you were in space, though. You didn't need to worry about that. It had interesting mechanics. It's like the longer you made the barrel of a mining beam, the more powerful it was, I think. And I think the same went for cannons.
I do remember one very interesting thing was that you could mix components of weapons together. So I think if you combined, had a missile system and you added a cannon to it, it'd shoot a burst of missiles, like a shotgun.
I don't quite remember, but it sounds like it's probably how it was. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I probably messed around with it when we used to play it. And then later on, we got Space Engineers, which is a lot nicer looking. The only thing I don't like about it is, I think there's a specific name for it. I think it's I can't be certain. It might be non-Newtonian physics or something like that. But the way the physics engine works as you're orbiting or exiting or entering atmosphere basically isn't quite realistic. So basically you cannot maintain an orbit without constantly have engines on downwards, basically, I think. Because it doesn't have the right true to life kind of physics to it.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want to stay in an orbit distance from the planet, you have to have your engines on at all times, basically, downwards. Unlike in Kerbal Space Program, which actually had very realistic physics. You could actually make an orbit and then use that to slingshot yourself, which initially I didn't even know that was a thing you were supposed to do. When I first got Kerbal Space Program, the first thing I did was make like start designing a rocket and modifying it, making revisions until I could launch it and make it to the moon without without making an orbit, just going straight to it, which is not the way you're supposed to do it. It's very inefficient, but eventually I did it. I don't know if I got it to also land safely or not, but I definitely made it like a rocket, like, a missile, just make contact, hit it, blow it up. Because I did figure out how to make like unmanned vehicles.
Hey, we were told to get there. No one ever said in one piece.
Or the right way. In the efficient manner. But yeah, Space Engineers is still pretty interesting.
Oh my god, Donkey Kong. You've been smoking? Your eyes are a bit just marginally bloodshot.
It's like, I have been up for 3 months.
I've had so much coffee, my eyes are twitching. Whoa. And another creative-esque game that I've gotten into, though I don't think Vito has as of yet, is From the Depths, which works kind of like Space Engineers, actually, in a lot of ways. Or at least, in design-wise. Except you're mostly on planet, but you can make, like, naval vessels, or ground vehicles, or aircraft. Although I have no clue how aircraft work. What? What was that?
I don't know. Yeah, I think I mentioned this also between episodes when we weren't recording, but one of the problems with Space Engineers is you don't actually get to use the stuff you make very well. Like, there's a mode where you can be on planet, and there's an enemy base that will periodically spawn these kind of like drone things with weapons, and that's about it. And then there's a mode in space, I think, where it'll periodically spawn space vessels that you can fight. And you could also try and fight, your friends in online by just spawning in your creations and seeing which one survives. But there's only like a few weapon types.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like you get a whole lot of use out of your creations in that sense.
I agree.
So that's one of the disadvantages of Space Engineers, I'd say. Because the AI for the enemies is kind of rudimentary. That was something I was going to also say about Battlezone 2 is sometimes your units in Battlezone 2 would either not kind of chase after enemies you wanted them to, or sometimes they would go off on their own and chase someone you didn't want them to.
Or sometimes they try to go up like a 80-degree incline. Yeah. And just keep trying, even though they'll never get anywhere.
That's another thing. In Battlezone 2, something about the way it determines the surface is kind of wonky. Oh, he's dead. Because there's like a bridge structure that you can't build, but it can be naturally in some maps. Sometimes a unit can be under a bridge and suddenly just teleport to on top of the bridge above it.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way it like tries to determine the surface, it's like they're doing some sort of trickery to get it to treat the bridge like a surface that it can be on top of.
Yeah, I just remember there's like never any... The way Battlezone 2 works, there's no... Like, there aren't caverns usually. Or overhangs. Like, it's all... There's only one level.
Yeah.
And there are some, like, objects that act as caves or such.
Yeah, if there's a cliff that is like a kind of outward jutting so you can go under it, that's usually actually a rock object stuck into a hill.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the way it determines the surface level is like you have to mess with it just to make like bridges work, and sometimes it broke.
Although what's funny is because those are technically objects, you can actually destroy them. It takes like 3 years of shooting at it and gets you nothing, but it is still funny.
We're kind of going back to RTS, but there's also something else I remembered. In StarCraft 2, there's, I think it's called the arcade, where you can make like custom rule sets and like just entire games in the engine of StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
There was one, I think it was just called Parasite Test. I think there's like multiple versions of it, so I don't know who created it first, when it was first created, and if it was actually inspired by something, but the way it works is kind of like Among Us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except
from what I can tell.
everyone has a weapon, and you can shoot at anyone you want, pretty much. But you'd have to actually choose to. So you could kill innocent people just by yourself. You don't need the entire crew to vote on someone. You can just go after someone if you think they're suspicious and kill them, or they could kill you in return if you fail. And it was very complex. Among Us would be like the super dumbed down version of this game mode. But like I said, I don't know if it was actually an original thing or if it was already based on something else.
Ow.
You were going to say something?
I was going to just say that I agree pretty much. And then I started getting punched in the face.
Yeah, there was like actually a part of the map that was like to represent the vent system. It was like all these tunnels that you could go through of the ship, and anyone could go through it. And I think there was even an ability that some part of the crew could use that would like purge the vents. And so if the what was it? It wasn't called an imposter. It was
The alien or the infested.
Maybe it was the infested or infected or something like that, probably. If they were in the vents, I think that would kill them. So that was like a way to make sure they weren't staying in there the entire time. But I think if you like infected the systems or something like that, eventually it would spawn creatures for you that would start like invading the entire ship, and you'd have to like, the crewmates would have to go and like, you know, destroy whatever was infected or whatever like that. Otherwise they'd be overwhelmed with like an army. It was super complex, and like you could even upgrade your weapons if you got enough resources or whatever.
I admit I don't remember that being one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was just so complicated that I got a little bit used to it, but I was in no way good at it. And there was basically no restrictions to communication either, unless... Oh wait, this is actually a huge part of the game that's not in Among Us, is that the alien could also infest other people. When they do so, it does have a cooldown, but when they do so, basically they put something on you, basically. And then you have a time limit before you are truly infected. At that point, you can still get like a med kit and heal yourself, but while you're in that, you know, time limit that the alien put something on you, you cannot talk. That is the one time you cannot say anything.
Huh.
So it's pretty interesting. So it can end up being a lot of people on the enemy team, the alien team, if they get away with infecting people. And like the alien is not limited to being in like the human form. They can also transform into an alien, like straight out that doesn't have the appearance of a human. Obviously, if you come into contact with any humans, you'll want to kill them.
Okay.
But then you have like your own other combat abilities that you can use to try and kill people. It is just so complex because you have the choice to kill people or convert them.
Yeah. Or destroy the ship, of course.
Yep. I think there was even the option to take a ship down to a planet. And, you know, you could do the fight there. You could get resources there. Just all this stuff. It was so complex. I can't stress that enough.
Question. Was it complex?
I don't know if there's a good answer for that. I was trying to come up with something, but I couldn't. Other than just, yes.
That's what I was expecting. Alright. Now, I can't remember why I'm here. I can only assume that you guys haven't paid your taxes, and I'm here to fix that.
You're all getting evicted.
Forcefully.
Why does that guy have a boxing ring as his room? The one below you.
It's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah, apparently.
Ow.
Do you have any wind immunity on?
I don't think so.
Because that could be a problem.
Alright. Or did I? No, I didn't.
Well...
Alright.
Wait, why did it say a check mark in the top right?
That's a good question. Wait, speed? Critical health defense. How's that counter heavy wind?
It doesn't.
What?
Maybe it thinks that, like from an auto pick or what you had before, that it would have it if you had more slots. No?
I don't...
Like, I thought maybe it had, like, for slot 2 and 3 already picked something, maybe. But because it couldn't fit.
I don't care that much about leveling up, so I don't mind just murdering you then.
Die! Your rent is due. And by rent due, I mean you need to die because you don't have money, apparently.
That one me just Naruto speed walking in the background of this room.
Not even that fast or anything. Oh, it's no longer a boxing ring. That's surprising.
Oh, it's not.
Oh yeah, now I remember where I was gonna go. I was gonna mention also Terror Attack. I don't know if you've played that, but
No.
it's an arc creative game. You start out with just a few pieces as your vehicle, and as you destroy other things, their pieces fall off, and you can literally just grab them and put them on your vehicle, and that's how you grow your vehicle. Until eventually you can make your own base.
Interesting.
Pretty interesting, yeah.
Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, I heard that was a movie.
Okay, why can't that be a skin then?
Because I'm guessing it was either a series or a game or something like that beforehand. I don't know if it was released in the US, but that's what the movie I think was based off of. But I haven't seen it.
Alright, well, I'll kill this one and then that'll probably be a good time to end the episode.
Also, I was kind of, again, not paying enough attention to the game because I was talking. Did we get anything special from that electrical area?
I'm not sure. I think it opened up a single gate, which allowed me to get to Little Mac. So no, we didn't get anything.
Nothing of value.
Wait, oh, I got confused as to where I was. Like, I thought I was on the left side of the map. I thought I was the flying Pikachu.
Wait.
What do you mean? I still have one more to kill.
Yeah. I guess it was just the primary one? Oh, was it supposed to be you were supposed to be a detective and make sure you were killing the right one? Whoops, collateral damage. 2 extra Pikachu had to die.
They could have been accomplices.
You never know.
Can never be too safe. Huh.
Well, never gonna use that.
Also, why is there so much
Stuff.
in just this city? Jeez. Alright then. Well,
you wanna end the episode here?
I think that'd be a good place.
Whatever that thing that's to the lower right of your character, it looks kind of like a mouse that's in the style of a Super Nintendo.
Huh.
Doesn't it?
Kind of.
It's weird, isn't it? It doesn't look like a building.
I don't know what that's supposed to be.
But yeah, I guess we'll end it here, and we'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.